There is always a risk when buying budget items that there is not as much accessory product available that works. And yet the greater risk is to give up too soon when you're trying to see what will fit and what won't. I was going to have the video all done hours ago. I've spent the whole day trying to make this cool little thing work on this Vevor. I tried swapping out the clamp plate. I tried all of that. Guess what? The holes do not match up. Cannot get them to match up. I looked online. Okay, I'll buy a different version of this. Maybe the other one. Because weeks ago, I thought, man, this Miles Craft thing that I bought that's so cool, I thought it was going to be a universal fit, and I went and I was going to make a video that day of fixing it all up. And I thought, oh, wait, it's not going to work. Well, guess what? Hours later, when I finally come back to the original, I find out that, yes, it is actually universal. And if I'd spent a little more time with it, well, maybe I wouldn't have figured it out. Okay, now that is off just a bit. I'm not sure how visible that is. It should be centered better than that. So why don't I see if I can do that? And then we're going to finish it up, because this has been something I've been trying to figure out for weeks, because I've got 2 or 3 fairly simple, especially with a good router, fairly simple projects that I wanted to bang out, that I just wanted to have the router working right. Maybe now it will. I'll be right back. Yeah, I thought it was universal when I bought it, and then I gave up on it, and now I'm finding out, yes, it is. What's cool, let's see if I can demo this. What's cool is these 2 of these mount holes they're slotted, so there's lots of flexibility there, but 2 of them are fixed. Come on out of there. And 2 of them literally come all the way out, so they can go anywhere on this round. It's really an ingenious design. And yeah, I've got 2 or 3 different wood Miles Craft things that I really like and need to actually put to use more. But this, I did not know for sure that I was going to be able, or going to need this or use it, but this, I think, is what it's for. It's to get it exactly centered. So there's all this play on this mount, and then we want to get it dead center on this. I was just commenting today on a Jesper Makes video that I am geometrically challenged. But I think even I know that if that is off center, that I am potentially going to have problems on any unguided, like trying to use a straight edge, any unguided line. If I mark it out and have clear, visible boundaries on a piece, I think that can still be okay, because I'm just going to be guiding it by hand anyway. But all right, a couple of things here. This is a white side router bit. Very eager to use that, but on the other hand, putting a white side router bit on a Vevor router is kind of like putting a Corvette engine in an Opel. Not that that's a bad thing necessarily, but it might be a bit of overkill. So I also have this Bosch set, and this bit, this bit could work for what I need. It's really nice to have those extra bearings. This bit could definitely work. And that may be the one I end up using. I don't think I'll be getting to the point of using the flush trim part of it, but this is a decent quality set, which I just opened for the first time a few minutes ago. And here's one that I have not, I should have done this before. Haven't opened it all yet, but this is a Harbor Freight set. And it's likely I may just end up using a couple of the regular bits to do what I need to do, which is two different things. Got some shelves I want to make for a friend. It's a surprise right now. And as long as it's been since I promised that I wanted to try and do it, it's going to be a major surprise if it actually gets done. And then also, I'm going to give up on, for now, on these barrel hinges for the watercolor Pashad and go back to the 6-inch kind of normal hinges because Chandra said that she actually liked those pretty well. And so what I'll do is, same thing I did before, is like measure this out to be exactly even, and then want to draw lines and then route down to the thickness of one side of the hinge. And let's see if I can, yeah, there we go, that's better. The thickness of one side of the hinge on each of these pieces. Now this is the sample board, this is the tester, so the actual Pashad is a different dimension, but this is great to at least have it this far. It is not exactly centered. It's a little bit off, but let's see if we can make it work. Hopefully there will be video up following this of actual routing being done. What if I actually got things together and organized and set up and usable? Kind of cool, wouldn't it? Yeah, well, maybe someday. That, I believe, is the right depth for those hinges. Now, this is one of the reasons I bought these clamps. It's because they are square backed and square fronted, as opposed to like pipe clamps that you see that are round galvanized pipe. This makes it possible to really set securely on a flat surface. Very good. Now let's measure this to the center. I got 5 inches there. What do I have here? Just a hair under 5, so let's, yeah, that's it. Let's see if I can actually make a mark this time. There's our center. Now, these are 6-inch hinges. So if I have that center line there, that comes to 3, that comes to just under 3. That's good to know too. Okay, so 3 and 3. Very good. There is the inset line. Now, we'll run the line all the way across. And this is why I was kind of waiting until I had the router and had a router with an extended base, because I want to be able to use this way and have it stay, even when I have to get all the way over here, have it still be able to have it on a solid flat surface. So that is the idea, and it looks like that's going to work. And now that I've spent all day trying to get just to that point, I think I'm going to have to do this tomorrow. But I sure am blessed and grateful to at least have it at this stage. Now, this is not, again, not the actual second prototype of the Pashad. This is actually the second prototype of this Pashad. And I have to cut one of these down, straight down the middle. Chandra decided that she liked the idea of it being absolutely symmetrical. And so in that process, I need to put a piece in the center. This is a beautiful piece of wood. I'm not sure that I'm willing to use it on this, but some piece of wood in the center that I can cut straight down the middle and still have an outside edge on both sides. Got 2 or 3 different pieces here. These could be cut. This is just pallet wood, but man, it's pretty. So that could potentially be what I use as well. I want to make it as nice as it can be, though. So, what is that? Is it maybe walnut? Maybe it's cherry. I'm not positive, but it very, very nice, and I think it'll be a nice touch on that. And then there's another one, the kerf for the cut on that top part of the box. I have a piece of cherry that is an offcut. I have a whole huge barrel, a 5-gallon bucket of offcuts, and so I've got some of those that can run down the middle. I really want to try and make this as refined as possible. So tomorrow, let's see how the router does. If it makes, instead of me chiseling out grooves here like I did on the first prototype, which is fine, but was not as consistent as it could be if I do it right with a router. Now, the nice part about this, if I don't do it right with the router, even though I've used up this side with the barrel hinges efforts, I've got 2 more sides that could be put face to face if I have to keep trying to learn how to do this. Anyway, let's call it a night and look forward to tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Believe it or not, I may be about to put the router to work. It doesn't look quite right, does it? That kind of burnt red, burgundy red on the handles and the vibrant orange on the head of the Viva router. It's like these things don't really go together, do they? But it's what I got. All right. Let's see. You can kind of just see there is a line right there, and the other line is like under that one. This is what I'm going to route out for the hinge, and the goal of this is to see if by the end of this video I've got this cut, I've got it even, I've got it accurate, and I put on a hinge that folds exactly right closed. Wouldn't that be nice? Let's see if that works out. That was not really a bifocal friendly operation there, but I think it turned out pretty well. Boy, I don't know that I could get it any more flush than that. Pretty sure that is it. Now, just to see, next challenge is to see if I can get the hinge exactly in the middle to the best of this tolerances on this anyway, and the screws exactly in place. Got some possible helps for that. For now, let's relocate inside. And here we go. The magic fastener bag has been raided. We've got the screws. I think we are straight as I can make it, and also as spread out as I can make it, which I think actually is something that will be an improvement over what I did before. I'm going to try to get exactly in the center of these. That's nice. That is nice. Okay, now ratchet. And this is where it gets kind of fun. In the spot. I think I'm in the spot. Yeah, those look pretty good. Oop. Get the number 2. And here we go. Not really a flush fit on that. I'm going to have to double check that too. Just for the sake of conversation, what if I had a friend who asked me, when telling me that he was kind of thinking he might like to make these to sell to people, what he could do to make it a little more accurate? First of all, maybe just get some more expensive, maybe better made hinges to begin with. But he could also just get his drill press finely set up so that he could dig that out, those out just a little bit more, so that the screws that he has would seat down in there more completely. For now, it's sitting too proud, and that is going to affect the height that it folds. So this hypothetical fellow, I mean, I guess it's a guy, what if he just took a little more out, deepened that bevel just a bit so that the screws would sit down flush? That would probably make it even better. Well, if that guy ever talks to me again, maybe I'll suggest that to him. And if you see him in the meantime, you might tell him that I got some ideas for him if he's interested. Okay, that is, I'm going to go ahead and put all 6 in. I don't really need to for the sake of demonstration, but I want to see the thing completed. So let me come back when I got the other 3 in. Okay, they're all in. Now it's time to see. we're gonna find out several things now. One of them being how square these little frames actually are or are not, and whether or not I got the hinge really set to the middle, and whether or not those screw heads are going to allow the frames to fold and set flat on against each other. I think that part is a yes. I think that is, because it's set here in these clamps, that I think is can be assured, but we don't know for sure until we try it. So let's loosen this up. And find out. Oh, wow. Now, as I said, it's possible that I'm going to need to cut a deeper with the router. That's one possibility. Probably what needs to happen, yeah. So I need to get a measurement for like the center of this rather than the flat of the hinge plate. I need to get the middle dimension right there, and that's my router depth, which is basically about there on either side. Then that would set shut. But here's the other interesting thing about this. That's not necessarily the end of the world, because if it just closed to that depth all the way across, then something that else that could be done would be to put a the artboard in there in the middle, so that you open it up, the artboard is there, and it's mounted. It can be mounted up like this. So sets flat. That can be a couple of things. That can be slightly adjusted so that it's actually square, but also it can be sanded so that these sides meet up better too. Okay, so what I'm saying, it could be a board that fits in between. I don't have exactly the right size here, but this is basically the idea, that you just have a flat that fits in between, and that becomes the board that you mount the paper on for the drawing. Yes, that has real potential. Okay. At this point, I'm going to say that this is successful to the extent that I think I can do this repeatedly. Excuse me. And that means that the real materials for version 2 can now be worked on. If you recall, what I do is put a middle piece here, glue it, cut it to size, of course, glue it so that I can get the exact middle, take it out to the miter saw, and cut this one exactly in half so that those two halves can then fold out. And with this hinge system that Chandra said she liked better than my idea for the barrels, and I'm really glad she did, that is a solid fold out. Very reliable. Just need to make a little more space so that either it can fold flat or we set up the artboard in that middle area. Just as a little experiment to test the tolerances, if this were the artboard, this is a 1/4 inch plywood, and I think what I found already is that that is just a bit too thick. It won't go down flat, but I think maybe this 1/8. Oh, look at that. That's what I was wondering. If 1/8 inch board could be solid enough as the backing board for watercolor work, then that 8th inch would work. All I have to do is nest it inside the fold down. And it's possible that could be hinged as well to make it a little bigger. We'll see. But anyway, I think, yeah, maybe I won't change the setting. Maybe I'll try one where I just do it this way and have the board in there. And we might end up with a version 3.0, depending on how this turns out. But I think this is going to be version 2.0 with that setting for the hinges and a board to go in the middle, and that can be used as a painting position